So I reiterate here, the bill is dead.
The story of this great city is about the years before this night. We are free!
Hey, this is Ho Ho Hong Kong. How you doing? I'm Andy Curtin. I'm here with Vivek.
That is
Mamalucci.
right. Mamalucci. I'll take that for today. That's the name I'm going with.
You can find me online at Andy Curtin on pretty much everything. Where do they find
just
you?
follow me. Go to Facebook at Funny Vivek with the letter M. M for Mana.
If you're enjoying the podcast, hit subscribe. We also have a pretty sick Patreon up. We're putting up bonus episodes every Thursday and a bunch of other video content and stuff like that. So go to patreon.com/HoHoPod. Link is in the description. Huge thank you to recent patrons Andrew Dale and Jason. So today's guest, very excited to have Jeff Rotmeyer on the podcast. How are you doing, man?
Great. Good to be here with you guys.
Yeah. So where do we start? How long have you been in Hong Kong for?
Yeah, I came to Hong Kong about 15 and a half years ago.
It's a good run.
Yeah.
It's plenty.
The typical two-year run, because it's coming for 2 years as an English teacher, and here we are.
Where's home?
Vancouver, Canada, just outside.
Somehow it seems like everyone who came to teach English teaches for 2 years and I can't teach English anymore. I got to do something more with my life.
You know what? I taught one class.
Yeah.
It was tutoring. I met this lady and her daughter in KFC in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, it was very clear she didn't want me to see her or her daughter again. I just don't have the disposition for it. I say that I can't, my brain can't be patient. I'm like,
yeah.
I told you, why don't you know?
Yeah, exactly. He, she, why didn't you get this? This is a new language to me.
What were you coming for?
Yeah, as an English teacher, and I got a job in a government primary school.
Nice.
So yeah, I loved the job.
But why would you leave a beautiful place like Vancouver? Aren't there enough Hong Kong people over there?
It's great in the summers. As a teacher, I would get the best part of Vancouver, which is the 2 months during the summer. So I'd be back every year then. But teaching is a great job in Hong Kong. You're paid fairly. The students want to learn. It's a great environment. And, as a foreign English teacher in the school, I was the only teacher in the school that didn't give homework. So I was an automatic fan favorite.
They just love you.
Yeah.
Well, that 2005, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like the city's changed much since then?
I think so.
Are we going all the way back to 2005 to look for change in the city?
Right. But it has changed.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't ask that question.
Are we allowed to talk about
it's a default, but it's a timestamp, It's interesting asking someone who's been their whole life or came in the 90s. Not many people we've spoken to came then.
Well, I guess because when you get here, let's say in 2005, you have this image that it gets imprinted in your mind of this is Hong Kong, okay. And then you be here long enough and you look at it now and okay, this is a very different world we're in. Whereas for me, being born and raised here, I was well, this has always been what it's like, right? It's always...
You don't think it's changed?
I think it's changed, as in this kind of change is just always Hong Kong.
The change is the default, right?
Exactly. I mean, the escalators all of a sudden it becomes stairs, it becomes escalators, it becomes a building. Now there's a garden. It's whoa, this is in 2 years.
They extend to the top of the peak. Then they extend to Shenzhen, and it's very advanced.
Yeah, exactly. It's a one-way street. There's only one road. You only go that way.
Escalators. In the mornings they go.
Exactly. Go to work. That's the escalator direction for Hong Kong.
Yeah. Do you feel what would you say is thinking back? Do you remember when you first arrived? Do you have a vivid memory?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, me and my wife came here, and we jumped in. We didn't have came here with no apartment, right? So we came here to look, and then we found we were caught in just a torrential downpour in Causeway Bay.
Terrifying is it when you start looking at apartments? Do you remember just being well, this one's weirdly small, but the next one will be okay?
Yeah. And the value we had back then, that's one big change.
Compared to now.
Oh, man. The place we had, I think, was $13K for a 600 in Soho.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Yeah, that alone with a little balcony. And
do you know there are people now who are old enough to basically rent but don't even know that image of $13K for 600 square foot that's happened once in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
You've had these numbers? This does not compute.
I remember when I was looking in 2019 and they were less than 25,000, they wouldn't even speak to me. for Hong Kong Island.
Yeah, you walk in, right? You're like, what's your budget?
We have nothing. That's what we have.
That's the
for
funny thing, like on the application sheet where the budget is, it actually has 5 empty spaces for you to put your number in. It's like, no, I just want us to use 4. Like, no, we don't work that way here. You got to go 5 or more.
What are you buying, a post office box?
Yeah, here's a postcard of a flat. Go mail
It's a
yourself
parking
something.
spot.
Yeah.
It was pretty. I don't know what. I first came here in 2009 because I was living in Shanghai for 10 years, and Hong Kong struck me as just being a wild party city.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, that's the biggest changes in my life have been that stage of, coming here, just my wife hanging out in Soho and, bars, nightclubs, etc. Having a child, shifting apartments quite often throughout Hong Kong Island, and now getting into the charity world and living on South Lantau, which is a big
It's whole
changes.
spectrum. I mean, like what you described is literally the spectrum of Hong Kong. You've got all the way from the nightlife all the way down to the charity work that you're involved in as well. So it's like, and you've been a teacher, so you've seen the young generation as well, how they're growing up. And in the government school, you see a whole different world compared to international schools. It's ridiculous. Like whenever you go there, you're just like, these are 2 separate worlds, but in one little small city.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the time in the public school really gave me, 13 years I was in the public school. So, it gave me a really good insight to Hong Kong culture. And, I think it's helped a lot, in this charity world.
Yeah.
Are your students 100% local there?
Yeah, in the public school they are. I mean, we had a few, I think 1 or 2 Pakistani students, which is, also gave me great insight, into the struggles and the challenges that they have, in this community.
And how did I have read some of your interviews and stuff online, but how did you start? Because we've brought you on today because you run Impact Hong Kong, which is one of the major charities working with homelessness in the city. What was the beginning of that for you?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's been a crazy ride. I guess it was about 11 years ago. I wanted to do something more meaningful, and I was a football player at the time, playing football, recreationally in Hong Kong.
Ouch, that hurts to say something more meaningful. He's like, I'm a football player. No meaning over there.
No,
He's like much more than
Teaching children, no meaning there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kicking the ball around the pitch. I mean, what's the point of that?
All these great things, just meaningless.
Look at Ronaldo just sitting there empty. Now go on.
shots fired. Yeah, it was. I was just seeking something more. And I had an idea just to coach, ethnic minorities, asylum seekers, and refugees in football. So I just simply reached out to charities that support those groups. I rented a pitch, invited the kids to join, and I just started coaching. Turned it into a bit of a program. Got Diodora sponsorship. I was giving a talk on that, and then when I sat down after my talk, I was approached by a doctor who's the head doctor of the Down Syndrome Association, and he asked if I would ever consider doing that for the Down syndrome community. And at that time, I'd never met anyone with Down syndrome, but I said I would try, and it just changed my life, really. Just became the highlight of my week.
Yeah.
And I just fully took that opportunity on.
Wouldn't you say like the charity events in Hong Kong, there's a real domino effect? Because even myself, I've worked with different organizations, and you work with one, all of a sudden there's someone over there. who's
humble
like,
brag, bloody hell, God!
Look at us helping the world.
I also do charity work.
I bought a little sticker on Saturday, for $2. No, but I mean, what I find interesting is that you wouldn't even imagine these worlds. Like you said, the Down syndrome, kids, and you're like, oh, I never even considered that initially when I thought of this idea of helping asylum seekers and all those youngsters as well.
Yeah.
And what was the most fascinating / bizarre / touching a surprise events you've done? Like I was surprisingly contacted by a hospital once to do comedy shows for patients, and I was like, wow, I never imagined that, and I did it. And it was a really special moment for me. Like, was there any one of those things that you just didn't expect to ever do and you've done, and you're like, wow, that has left an impression on me?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, this has been a crazy ride. So many. I mean, just in you sharing that story, one thing I never thought about as well was like cleft lip.
Yeah.
And we were doing these junk boat parties.
People with like a cleft palate.
Yeah, and we were doing these junk boat parties at the original stages to kind of raise cash and have fun at the same time. So we'd hire a night junk
The old
boat.
charity junk boat.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting drunk
Now
for the
you're
cause.
talking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of help I
We're
wanna
going to have a
give.
live auction after 3 shots.
Charity work does not have to be boring.
Yeah.
And I reached out to a charity called SOCO, a Society of Community Organization, and I asked, is there anybody, like a specific person that really could use a hand? And she mentioned this one lady who's doesn't have enough money for cleft lip, but also her father just died. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow. So we did this jump boat party, raised $20K for her, the next stage of her operation. And then we went and did that. But it was just like,
That's such a funny setup.
it was amazing, just bringing people together who care.
Yeah.
And seeing a direct result because of that care, right?
Yeah.
It was just a really cool event.
I don't mean to laugh, but it was like, she's can't afford the operation. Her dad just died. You're like, sounds like she's ready to party.
Immediately thinks of junk boat people.
You're like, that's a junk boat right there.
Exactly.
Jump boat for you. Jump
Yeah,
boat
exactly.
for you.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, in your honor. She's like, but this all happened in my life. We're gonna
She's
get
like,
drunk
I'm
right now, and
miserable.
tomorrow you're gonna be happy again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's another bizarre thing I find with charities in Hong Kong is that when you do like fundraiser events, it's kind of a weird experience. You're like, so I'm over here partying, but it's for this cause, and you feel kind of.
I'm also so wary about like how much of this is going to the charity. I think
yeah,
it's
that as
huge.
well.
Like in comedy, the number of comedy promoters that are giving like 10%. And the thing is that if you put charity on a comedy show, you're going to sell out. Like that's
Yeah,
So they're going to make more money than they would have made just running a show.
yeah.
And do you see people taking advantage of the charity like that?
Yeah, I've learned. I mean, I never grew up in the charity world. I'm just learning as I go through this process. But yeah, you get that question a lot. Where's the money going? Questions of admin percentages with charities.
Oh, of course. But do you see
on
people
all
doing
this
it
stuff.
wrong?
Do I see charities doing it wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you see a lot of charities that definitely don't do a great job. But I think also you have charities are just unfairly treated, in my opinion. They're judged not based on the product that they deliver. They're judged on their admin percentages, which very often leads to just charities not doing a good job because you're not getting the best people to do it because you have this fear of instead of tackling the problem,
You got to spend money to raise money, right?
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause, like,
sometimes you do.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where, like, let's say you want to hire staff, right, on your team, and you're afraid that if you spend too much money on, like, just the staff salaries and everything, when you have the final report that you got to show, is like, oh, you spent so much money on staff, whereas you only help so many people. But it's like a long-term thing, right? You got to kind of build up the foundation. Maybe you need the staff to help build up all the connections and everything. So that's a really weird thing I have with, like, when I work with charities, I'm actually curious to see how they perform, but I'm more interested in what is the objective of your charity. Like, if you told me that you spend a lot of money doing posters and this and that, but then your objective is really to help kids, and I'm like, hey, I want to help this bunch of kids as well, I'm fine. I have no problem with the admin costs, because I realize that it's a really weird way to look at the charity from the percentages of like how much it's going to where. But there have been some that I've done where you go there and you're like, this clearly is just an excuse to have a party. Like, I've been to gigs where I'm like, this was supposed to be a charity fundraiser, but this clearly is not about the fundraising. Like, the fundraising is like, okay, that'll happen later on at 11 p.m. But 8 p.m. onwards, let's get the partying going on. Let's get the drinks out. I'm like, guys, this is kind of awkward for me if I'm hosting a whole event, but I'm not talking about the charity until 3 hours into the whole event, right?
Yeah.
So you have all sorts of these weird things. But I mean, I'm sure like with you, Jeff, like, you have people approach you to, collaborate or ask for your help and stuff where you just couldn't help them? Like, you were tied down, or there was some issue that you were dealing with that you just couldn't help them and you didn't know how to deal with it?
You mean with like people that we were helping on the streets?
Helping on the streets, or like during your journey to where you are now? I mean, when you started the whole charity community outreach and stuff like that, were there times when, let's say, people or organizations contact you and saying, hey, Jeff, we love what you're doing, can you help us? Just like the doctor asked you to train other kids as well. Have you had occasions where you're like, I really wish I could, but I can't right now. I'm totally bogged down. There's no way I could do this. I'm sorry, I can't help you guys. Have you ever had those moments?
Not many, to be honest, because we really are a huge community now. We've had roughly almost 10,000 volunteers. This is a massive...
That's a phenomenal number.
Yeah, it's an incredible caring community that we've got. So when you have that, there are solutions that you can find. I think one struggle that jumps to mind there is in not seeing enough support for asylum seekers in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
That is definitely a big passion of mine.
From Hong Kong or?
In Hong Kong. Oh, from Hong Kong. Oh.
I noticed you mentioned online that the initial step towards Impact Hong Kong was that you just once a month wanted to go and do a walk around and start giving people food. How did that go the first time you went out, and how did it develop?
Yeah, it was an eye-opener. Definitely never knew it was even an issue in Hong Kong. And then we went out, distributed the food, and then I was like, wow, I need to really like to do that again. Invited people to come once a month. And then I think it was after 4 or 5 months, we just had too many people too many volunteers. It was like 30 or 40.
You had too many volunteers.
Yeah. There's a lot of caring people in Hong Kong when given the chance to do something meaningful.
And the volumes of walks you do now. Actually, can you mind sharing people what a walk is?
Yeah,
for impact?
definitely. That's how we started with that kindness walk, and that's the name I gave it, kindness walk, which is pretty much it. You go out and show kindness to people.
It's the most Canadian thing ever.
but also really a different strategy than any other charity I've come across. And so many organizations, religious organizations, charities are feeding the homeless, but our approach is very, very, very non-forceful. So we don't interview people, we don't photograph them. We don't force conversation on people because that's a mistake. That's
on
made.
the homeless.
Yeah, it's such a common mistake.
I think you should do it to anyone, really.
No, exactly. I wouldn't want that.
I'm doing it to you right now.
Yeah, like talk to me. Here's a sushi roll. Talk to me.
Yeah, I am in a corner right now, to be honest.
True. On purpose.
But
This
that's
should apply to the homeless and people sitting next to you on airplanes.
Exactly.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got food. They're starving, and you make this assumption. Oh, they just love hearing everything I'm saying. They just love talking to me so much. But that individual is facing a problem and issues that you could never comprehend, and they might have had the worst night possible, and they just need food. So the key to it in our strategy is just hit them again and again and again with recurring kindness. We just say hello, pass them some food, an invitation card to our center. And that recurring kindness, it really does result in them coming in. And that this process works. We earn their trust on the streets and we feed them. And then when they come in our center, that's where we get to know them as hopefully a friend and see how we can best support them.
Well, it's interesting you use that word friend because I've seen you talk about that before, and this idea that there are various reasons why people in Hong Kong are homeless, but the one commonality you've seen is that they lack a friend that cares about them or someone that cares about them.
Definitely.
How does, how do you notice that, and how does it change when you're able to provide
That's such
that?
a Hong Kong thing, though, lacking friends, because like the Hong Kong mentality
Speak
is
for
very
yourself,
like,
buddy.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm doing this because I have to. I don't want to do it. No, but what I'm saying is like the whole Hong Kong thing is like I remember when I went to Vancouver, right, for my first time, and I went there, and there's this habit that when you get off the bus, you say thank you to the driver and stuff like that, right? Simple things like that, where my brain could not process that. I was like, wait. So I got to thank someone who I paid for the service I received.
You're like, wow, everybody knows the bus driver.
And number one, that. And number two, I'm like, man, like this is a small
Wait,
community.
you don't say thanks in Hong Kong?
when you get off the bus?
Yeah.
Not the big ones, at least. Maybe the minibus at most, but not the big bus.
Oh, man, you're an asshole. I don't know this about you.
No, but
That's pretty rude.
You know, exactly. Oh, hold on a second, people. I lived here my whole life. You don't tell me how to live here. No, but I mean, that's the aspect. I think in Hong Kong, the mentality has always been like, it's not that people don't want to reach out. It's more like, I got better things to do, or, I don't really know you. You don't know me. Let's leave it at that. Like neighbors, you very often you live with your neighbors opposite, but you never see them, or you never even ever know about them.
I couldn't name one neighbor I've had in 12 years of living in China.
Now that's rude, Andy. You should learn how to say thank you getting off the bus. Start practicing. No, but
I say hi.
But I think that's a really like Hong Kong. I wouldn't say flaw, but it's a very Hong Kong quality. But I don't personally like it. But then I think that's the thing, that a lot of people don't realize that all they need is that one friend just saying hi and just saying, hey, we're here, I'm here, let's get on with
Do
our
you think
lives.
this is a unique quality to homelessness in Hong Kong, or do you think that's a characteristic of homelessness everywhere?
No, I think everywhere. So in Vancouver, Canada, you have a huge homeless problem, but it's very, very different than the one here.
In what ways?
Well, you have much more social support in Canada, so the welfare allowance is a lot higher. The opportunities for shelter are provided by many more organizations. Even if you're somebody who uses drugs, severe mental illness, they will provide shelter for you in Vancouver. It's still an overwhelming number of homeless individuals there, so there's waiting lists sometimes. But you also have a lot of the homeless there because they are getting a larger welfare allowance and the accommodation and food support. They'll resort to panhandling, begging for money, and the loonies and toonies add up. So it's a difficult process there. But I've met many homeless individuals in Vancouver. If you could somehow get on a one-on-one level with somebody there, that would be the easiest way. If you could somehow develop a real friendship with somebody on the streets and offer them, after they have that friendship, an opportunity, that would be able to replace that with that, it would be a no-brainer.
So going back to Hong Kong, how do you see this role of lacking friendship, affecting the people that you're working with, and how do you try to provide it yourself?
Yeah, you have to build communities, right? We're one big community now, and then we have to foster smaller communities. So we have co-living spaces that we've started opening up, which are 3-bedroom apartments. So we transition individuals. When we first get people off the streets, we put them into our hostel guest house. They'll stay in there. They'll get support with us daily. And then
Where's that?
That's in Mongkok. Yeah,
Okay,
Mongkok area.
near the location where you do the.
Yes, Tai Kok Choi is our main offices and sports counseling rooms are in Tai Kok Choi, which is right next to Mongkok and Olympic Station as well.
And has that been affected by COVID?
Not from us. We all of 2020 we operated every single day. 500 meals a day. We're on the streets every single night, multiple locations, and yeah, we've acted, and even our staff. In 2020 we went from having 7 full-time staff up to 28. So we're really, really, really on the move. Yeah.
Do you feel like? Can you think of people that have transitioned out of homelessness in your interactions with them?
Yeah, I mean, in speaking of the friendship aspect, so one of the individuals was homeless in Happy Valley Tunnel for over 10 years. We earned his trust there. He came all the way from Happy Valley to Tai Kok Choi to see us because of that trust. That's a big thing. You have to really appreciate that effort. And it's like us running a marathon is what I equate it to. And, he came all the way. We became friends. We offered him an opportunity in our program, got strong, graduated, got a job in a restaurant.
How old?
He's 62.
Oh,
62.
wow.
Local guy?
I mean, the average age of the homeless in Hong Kong is around 59, 60. Yeah, local Hong Konger.
The other thing I've noticed in my interactions with them is that when I think of homeless people in Australia, immediately they're mentally unwell or there's drugs. I know that's not always the case, but I feel like the homelessness I've seen here, people for the most part seem pretty normal, actually.
Well, I mean,
is that a fair statement or is that unfair?
No, it's definitely not a fair statement, but I'm
not saying there's none of the other side, but I was shocked at how normal some of them seemed and together and coherent and I just thought, wow, it struck me with those certain people I'm thinking of that this is really much more an economic thing, or maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
It's no. I'd say 100% of the homeless we meet outside or have mental illness of some sort.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Wow. Whether it's is simple, which is not simple, but it's depression. It's very, very hard to sleep outside. It damages you. It hurts you, right? And the people that we meet outside have suffered from serious, serious trauma in their lives. So you have. What led to their homelessness is one aspect, right? Whether it's rape, whether it's a child dying, whether it's physical, mental abuse, and et cetera, et cetera. Then you have the trauma and the pain of living outside living in that pain, but also seeing absolutely no hope in ever being able to get up again. Because to be able to get up off the streets, you've got to somehow get a job with no address, bringing your suitcase in, potentially smelling because you slipped outside.
Yeah.
Which some people do as well, right? There's employed homelessness here, right?
Many are. That's because of the price of property. So a lot of those individuals you do see, but you'd have to be able to sustain that job to save about $10,000 to $13,000 to be able to afford a deposit, and then you have to continue working in that jobs that you somehow got as a homeless individual. It's just a very, very difficult ride, and how could you possibly do that without a friend? I mean, going back, you look at that individual. He came out of Happy Valley Tunnel, went through our program, got strong, got a job making very good salary, $17K a month. But he left that job because he was alone, and he came back to us and took a full-time job with us. He was the first full-time person we hired, making about a little bit more than half the wage. But he would prefer to work with us in our community than having that job and being alone. The job is not enough. And, when people think of how do you help the homeless problem in Vancouver, Canada, or in Hong Kong, they quickly think shelter.
Yeah.
And shelter just doesn't work. You could take 100 individuals off the streets tonight, give them a free accommodation for an entire year.
Yeah.
And at the end of that year, they would pretty much 99% of them would become homeless again. It's just a very difficult thing on the streets here.
So with that friendship aspect, why is it that they have people around them that have broken their trust? Is that where it's broken down?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely one aspect for sure. It's a tough world, Hong Kong. it's a tough one. So when you're looking at the homeless issue in Hong Kong, there's the street sleepers, but then you also have the coffin homes, caged homes, subdivided apartments, rooftop dwellings.
So you
These
would put people living in very poor accommodation, which is so common here, in the category of people that we're talking about?
I would count individuals who live in illegal spaces that are even defined by the government as illegal. Those are homeless people, right? So a person who's living in a coffin home, which is an inhumane space, would never be considered a home, in my opinion. It's illegal, it's inhumane, it's unacceptable. So when you start really truly accounting for the number of homeless individuals in Hong Kong, which I believe includes those people, it doesn't let the government off in saying that it's not a problem, because it is a huge problem. And the more people that understand that, the better.
What about the McRefugees?
Yeah, and that's another one. Sometimes people think that people living in McDonald's they're fine, they're in shelter.
Yeah, like, no,
it's
dude.
okay. No,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a restaurant that, number one, isn't a homeless shelter. They're turning the air conditioners on very low at night. They're vacuuming, partitioning off the benches so you can't lie down, and they wake you up if you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So this is not a good situation.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 500 people a night in the last count that sleep in McDonald's every night.
Yeah.
Which is now closed at 6 p.m. because of COVID.
Yeah, that hurts, man. I mean, especially with all the grease in the air, imagine the acne you also get with that.
Could be worse. They could be eating McDonald's.
Exactly. Right over there. There's one thing staying around it, another thing ingesting it.
That'd be so funny. Someone's like, "Would you like some of my food?" They're like, "No."
Yeah, hello. Do you know where you are?
It's on the bench.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. So right now, I've heard a lot about if I, let's say, want to get involved. Like, I feel like I want to see if I can do any sort of impact and help. Here, look at that branding right over there. There's the word impact.
This is
in my
you. This is why you get your gigs.
So what's the, I don't want to say beginner or entry level thing that someone can do, because what I find is a lot of times people get excited about charities and they're like, I want to do charity, I want to do this, right? And then when they get to it and like, oh, I got to do all this. Oh, couldn't I do something else that makes me feel
Oh,
good
it's
as
work.
well?
I thought it was just doing tequila shots.
Yeah, I
helping.
just like, you want me to wrap 100 of those for these kids? I don't want to do that.
On my Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just, I mean, not to cater to someone who's just lazy, but I just want to make it easy for someone to have the entry point of like, what can they or someone do to help the homeless? Like, as you said, don't go up to them and pretend let's have a conversation, maybe talk and stuff. Maybe they don't need that. They just maybe need something else first, and then get to the point that they're comfortable about you and then want to speak to you. So what's the entry level thing you would say to someone who could kind of help the homeless in Hong Kong?
Yeah, I mean, well, working with the schools, I get that question a lot. It's like, number one, first and foremost, we need to care. Right?
Yeah.
And just by caring and understanding that homelessness is not a simple thing. This is not a lazy issue. It's not.
So don't look at them like, oh, look at these people. Like, not with that attitude, right?
No, I mean
That's not much of a friend.
It's pretty stupid, and I mean it's just such an illogical thing to judge someone who you don't know, right? To look at somebody based on their appearance and try to give
Who's
them
probably
advice. I mean,
been
it's
through
just stupid.
something worse than anything you've been through.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you
That's
can
why,
imagine as well. Yeah.
Yeah, which leads to like a real failed definition of empathy. But just on that though, I will say the kindness walk is really simple. Right?
Yeah.
You're not going out there, whether you speak English or Cantonese, it doesn't matter. You're simply going out and passing a banana. You don't need a degree for that. It's a very simple volunteering activity, which takes about an hour.
Yeah.
And it will give you more insight into the homeless situation in Hong Kong.
And on top of that, an hour of walking can burn up to 500 calories.
There you go.
So letting you know during COVID times, everyone should be doing 20,000 steps or 10,000 steps per day. An hour's walk is more than 20,000 steps on average for a person. Think about it. You help people, you help yourself.
Do you
There you go.
Do you find in your work that you have the opportunity to see people at that really early phase where they either become homeless or going on what you're saying, enter a mentality that would breed homelessness?
When you think about solving the homeless issue, you think, okay, well, how can we stop homelessness before it happens?
Right. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
But to be honest, it's impossible because, people will always have fall downs in society, right? So the key that we look at in preventing it is in educating society as much as possible. So when we see a homeless individual outside, whether it be you, me, or anybody else, your very first thought when you see that person is, that person needs care, that person needs help. That's not somebody who we should judge, that's somebody who needs care, right? And it's unacceptable that anybody should sleep outside. And if you have enough people in society that understand that, it will result in bigger change.
Is there anything that you... do you think the Hong Kong government does a good job in dealing with it?
No, not in the slightest.
What would you think? What would you like them to see them do?
Well, I think I think you have to. There's many pieces to the puzzle. It's not an easy fix. I think the government, could do more in working better with the charities that support the homeless. So you have 3 major government-funded charities that they provide a lot of money to, millions and millions of dollars per year, to say the least. And those charities that they pay to support the homeless are very limited in what they can offer, right? So they're typically typically forced to label the homeless as street sleepers, number one, right? They can't provide shelter or real support for individuals with severe mental illness, right? Drug addiction, individuals that have suffered serious trauma, they can't help that community because of the recording and reporting that they must do for the government, right? So that's a huge issue. But then also you have to look at public housing, right? And having more public housing opportunities for single individuals, right? So we'll meet men on the streets who have been waiting for public housing for 15, 20 years, which is just, unacceptable. So, those are definitely things, but I think the government really has to kind of stand up and say, you know what, this strategy that we have now in just telling individuals who are homeless and in pain to just go away and go somewhere else, it just doesn't work, right? Closing off footbridges where the homeless are and telling them to go away without giving them real options is unacceptable. So it's it's a real learning process, but it starts with care.
It's typical. I mean, you see a lot of these small examples of the government subtly kind of things shooing people away. Like, for example, under the bridges, you'd have normally a flat cemented area, and they'll just all of a sudden have this new renovation where there's like little spiky blocks of cement over there, so it's uncomfortable.
Hostile architecture.
Hostile architecture, exactly. Or the benches all of a sudden have armrests in the middle. You're like, really?
Yeah.
Really,
I love
we need
that
the
expression,
separation.
hostile architecture. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's everywhere, actually. The benches are one thing. The old Hong Kong benches, they have a really looping armrest.
Yeah.
And many homeless individuals, where are they going to lie down in a safe place?
Yeah.
So they were able to put their body, squeeze their body under this trapped big armrest, right? Which is horrible.
Yeah,
but
of course.
At least they could lie down.
Yeah.
But the government, they're so smart. They had this new armrest, which is cutting right through, so it's impossible to get your body in there.
Yeah.
And this little strategy, and you're like, wow, you can just kind of imagine this government meeting where they're like, oh yeah, let's design it like this so they can't lie down.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
I don't want anybody living on a park bench, but at least when they're on a park bench, you can find them.
Yeah.
And you look at the amount of suicide that we see on the streets.
Is there
it's
a lot of
unbelievable.
suicide on the streets?
Yeah, I think honestly daily. I think you're having individuals commit suicide. So it's a huge thing.
What do you I don't mean to ask the grisly question, but are you finding cases or?
Oh, sure. I had quite a few friends in the past year committed suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
No, it's part of the that's why we have to fight hard and quick, to get the results that we need, because we offer a lot as a charity. We have 160 plus people in shelter tonight. So we really do work hard in getting individuals off the streets and giving them an incredible care along with that. But everything we're doing as a charity is just not good enough at this stage.
Yeah.
We have a lot more to improve on, a long way to go. Because it's serious. Very serious.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest challenge in what you do, or the biggest challenge that you've faced since you started?
It's enough time in the day. You just have to really, really work really hard to get to this stage, and now we're in a really good position. I would say we've overcome every single step. We're just very solution focused. We've overcome some really big challenges along this why we're 3 years old as a charity. But I think right now we're in such a good position that I can see how, there's some big challenges ahead, but there are definitely solutions because of how many caring people there are in Hong Kong.
And do you feel like there's been moments when you thought you were doing it wrong, or you've made a mistake in how you've approached it?
Yeah. I mean, especially in looking back, we adapt very quickly, and we've done.
What were some of the adaptations you had to make?
Oh, I mean, one of the very first things, one of the very, very first things we did was we started a laundry program, which was basically passing out, connecting with laundry shops in the areas where the homeless stay, and then developing a card for that shop we could pass out to the homeless in that area so they could take their clothing and bring it directly to that shop and then get laundry support there.
Yeah.
Right. And that worked well. It was a good program, but a better adaptation was in getting our own laundry machines and then having individuals come and do laundry with us. And while they're there, we get to know them better. They can have a coffee, have a tea, a snack, a meal, a conversation in,
And
a,
the
in a more
friendship.
secure setting and a
Yeah.
friendship based, right?
Do you
Yeah.
speak Cantonese?
No.
Does
No,
that
I
hold you
don't.
back from having friendships with a lot of these guys?
I think it probably does in some sense, but it, our staff are incredible. All but two of us are fluent Cantonese speakers, and Alec, one of the gentlemen I mentioned earlier, who lived in the tunnel. We don't speak the same language.
That's the Mohawk guy?
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So there you go. So
But he's one of my
Yeah.
best friends in the world. We'll have
He was
beers
great,
and,
yeah.
and drinking the Dai Pai Dong together. We're good. I
Yeah.
But he
think,
doesn't speak English, right?
No, he doesn't. It's improving a little bit, as is my Cantonese. I got
Nah.
a couple words now, but
yeah. But I mean, that already shows you that it's not really the language barrier. A lot of times people tell me, oh, I can't really do this because of the language barrier. I'm like, when there's a will, there's a way, right? In many ways, if you really want to do something, like the kindness walk, honestly, it could be a silent one.
Yeah.
You just walk around and do your thing. You don't need to worry about like, oh, but what if they talk to me? What if I want to say something? Like, don't worry. It'll be fine. The major action is not the conversation. It's the giving out, it's the connecting in that sense,
It
right?
is making sure they know that they're cared for.
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
there's
yeah.
an opportunity if they want it.
Yeah.
Right.
And not to be one off. I mean, no one's eating once a year, right? So you
We're
consider
every day.
Yeah.
We're every single day. But it is, it's a thing I've learned as well. It really changed is that we're not a charity that we don't save lives as a charity, right? And the reason Alec and all
Kinda
the other
do, though.
No, we provide opportunities that people need, right? We provide opportunities for shelter. We all need that. We all deserve that. Food. We all need a friend. We
Yeah.
provide those opportunities, and the reason that the individuals that we help find success is because of them. It's because
Yeah.
of their work, their heart, and what they do, and the effort that they have to make. And
they just need that
Yeah.
little stepping stone at most, right? Like basically, they have the ability themselves. They just need that one little extra step
yes,
that you guys are providing for them to start bouncing back.
yeah, which goes back to the process of it on the streets. If we try to force that conversation too much, and we try to pull people in for support, it ends up in failure.
Yeah.
And if they make the effort, we offer them the opportunity of coming to our center, and then they come. That's where you find the greatest success.
Yeah.
And they have to understand that balance. We provide that opportunity, and once we do, we need you to kick ass now.
I think that's the interesting thing because like when you're talking about this, I face something similar when I go to schools talking to ethnic minority kids as well. A lot of them had disheartened, feeling that we're not part of society. We're the EM kids. Our future is kind of just A or B or C. That's at most what we have. Where like a lot of time I talk to them, I say, you don't limit yourself. It's kind of like you just need that encouragement or that motivation, sort of that image in your head of like, hey, wait a second, you mean I can be doing that? That's possible. And
You're like,
that's,
look at me. I get confused with Jeffrey Andrews every week.
Exactly. I mean, you could be confused as well. I mean, we could all be confused, So stuff like that. So
It's good kind of be confused about it.
well, exactly. I mean, thankfully, right? I'd rather be confused with Jeffrey Andrews than a lot of other
Than
people
Muhammad.
I know. There you go. Or you. Hey. No, but what I'm saying is that so it's more like these little stepping stone, the little encouragement, the little bouncing board, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you would say Impact Hong Kong really is doing for a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think there's a difference in how homeless are perceived in Hong Kong versus other countries?
No, I think it's kind of the standard because even when I speak to schools, and you'll get even so. The reason I bring that up is because kids have never met a homeless person, right? So a 6-year-old has never met a homeless person, but even they'll have this idea that the homeless are lazy or that there's a choice, or why do they choose that? Why do they do that when they could do something
Yeah.
else? It's just kind of an ingrained thought, and it's such a push narrative. in
Would you say
life.
it's also because like a lot of parents kind of scare their kids of like, you might sleep on the streets if you don't work hard now, I mean, it's a really
Yeah,
opposite
yeah.
negative. I always tell people where I say, there's an image I saw online where like you have one parent yelling at the kids saying, if you don't study hard, you're going to have to, be a street sweeper or whatever.
Yeah.
And the other parent is saying to the kids, like, hey, if you study hard, you'll be able to help this person, maybe improve their lives and stuff. So it's two different mindsets of the same situation. So would you say that's a Hong Kong issue where a lot of parents think that, oh, sleeping on the streets, that's going to be the ultimate failure if you don't study hard now?
Yeah, you see the range, because we do want families to come out. We do want kids to learn, and you'll have some parents who are like, you see, let's go and show that guy some love, and you'll have some parents like, yeah, you see,
Yeah.
if you don't study, that's I told you.
Yeah, that'll be you. Yeah, exactly, right? It's a really bizarre spectrum where you literally
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
two parents looking at someone going like, oh, you'll become like that, or the other's like, you know what, let's help that person. Two
Exactly.
different. And what do you see more now? Like, do you see that spectrum changing as in the more and more new generation kids in schools kind of saying, yeah, we understand this as an issue rather than like, oh, we better avoid that ever happening to us?
Oh yeah, you see such incredible mindset change. I mean, not just with the kids, with the corporations that we work with. We work with a lot of a lot of banks, law firms, etc., who come on walks with myself, and you see.
You have a moral slate to
You
clean.
do. You do. Yeah, you do. You see people really change in a very, very short amount of time. So you'll have people in a 10-minute story, you'll have one person at the beginning thinking that, homelessness is an easy fix with, tents that are transformed from coats and, a very, very simple fix. And you'll have them understanding how important friendship is and how these individuals really need care as their top need.
So within an hour of that kindness walk and the introduction and everything, like you've seen a lot of people's minds just completely change.
Oh, unbelievable! Yeah, it's a huge thing. Yeah, so this charity is quite special because I think. I know there's a lot of homeless charities in the world that do great work, but I have to say, I don't know too many homeless charities that would invest as much time as we do in the education side. Right?
Yeah.
We're working with 30 plus schools a year, and we have a big message on social media how we grew, and the importance of caring for this community and what happens if you do.
How many people come on the walk also to find friends?
It's funny, because it's actually you meet great people.
That's what I was going to say.
It's a good spot.
There's an
definitely.
element of building trust with the homelessness people,
Yeah.
but you've also got to build trust with the people that are going to help you out, right?
Yeah, 2 of our volunteer walk leaders just got married.
All right.
Yeah, another group of walk leaders just got engaged as well. So we got there's opportunities there. Yeah, go for it.
Coffee meets bagel. This is a whole different game.
Yeah, we're talking about a big community, so yeah, definitely.
What's the most important part of what you do personally now, do you think?
I think it's in trying to, get these charities to a point where they can be here well past my time, right? So that these charities can be here 100 years from now. They'll be deeply ingrained in the fabric of Hong Kong and the education system, right? And I think that's the big challenge. So I have to get my butt off the ground a little bit more, which kind of sucks because I really like being on the ground, and then more working on building it as a company and ingraining this vision and culture inside our staff that will then give it the longevity that it needs.
And is there anything looking forward that you're really hoping to see, be realized? Any big goals coming up?
Yeah, massive. So we're opening up our first kitchen within the next 2 months, actually, which will give us a lot more opportunities for people off the streets in terms of our programs and routine work, but then also in job training, and then in having a stronger graduation stream for individuals off the streets to get strong, get the training, and then move on to work with our corporate partners in the workforce, right? Also looking at opening up our second social enterprise shop, which is our one-of-a-kind clothing shop, which will open up in Wan Chai hopefully this year before summer. Which is, again, more job opportunities, saving good quality clothing and products from the landfill, which has been going really well. Our shop in Jordan has been really successful. So it's that's exciting. And then moving a lot more into mental health support, which is really the biggest gap on the streets in drug rehabilitation, purposeful work and opportunities for them.
Wow, and the whole of Hong Kong, the rest of the world is looking at 2021, man. Oh my God, this year is going to suck, right? Here you are so optimistic about all the projects that are upcoming soon, like in summertime with the shop opening.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, I can't go to Thailand.
Yeah, exactly, right, exactly. I mean, I guess it really is a perspective, right? You see a lot of things and you say, hey, you know what? Let's just make things work out. Because you've seen so many, like I said, it's the spectrum. You've seen this other end of Hong Kong and the world around you that, comparatively, the fact that you can't fly to Thailand or the gyms are closed is whatever. It's no big deal. Why are we so whining about that when there's so much more we could be doing with our lives? So coming back to that kindness walk thing, would you consider that as something people can do and take and try out and basically experience to hopefully give them perspective in 2021 for them
totally.
to, right?
Yeah, because you're not just even helping the homeless, right? You're helping elderly individuals on the streets, cardboard collectors. You're helping along these walks. We also help all the street cleaners. This Chinese New Year, we have our annual Street Cleaner Appreciation Week, where we just encourage people in society to take a red packet. And yes, you're helping other people with red packets, but why not give one as well to the street cleaners in your community? Just kind of opens eyes up. So when people go on these walks, I think it's honestly the best volunteering act you can do in Hong Kong because you're just walking on the streets and you're going to do that the very next day. And, my daughter, I use as an example, when my daughter sees a street cleaner in Hong Kong, it's ingrained in her. Her very first thought when she sees that person is to care for that individual and appreciate what they do. So it is a great activity.
Dude, thanks so much for giving us some time today. It's been awesome.
thank you. Yeah,
really
it's good.
eye-opening. Should we stick around and do a Patreon?
Let's do it.
All right.
good.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.